There's only two ways to properly inspect your brakes. You can listen and you can look. You're listening to the sound with the squealing noise from the sensor touching the rotor, or you doggone have to take the tires off and actually look at the pads. The only way you can look to see if the pads are worn or not is to take the wheel off, because you can't look in here and say, oh, I need brakes. Doesn't work that way. You've got to take the tire off to check the brakes properly. This system here is on a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Most rear-wheel drive vehicles have a hub rotor assembly like this. They have an inner and an outer bearing inside this hub. These bearings have to come out, they have to be cleaned, they have to be repacked with new grease and reinstalled after the rotor's been resurfaced. People that have front-wheel drive vehicles, you'd see a rotor similar to this. People with rear-wheel drive vehicles, you'll see a rotor similar to this. A little messier, not as messy. That's the difference. What you want to look for when you're inspecting your brakes, obviously, most importantly, you want to look at the thickness of your brake pads. This particular vehicle has a hole here so that you can look into the center part of the inner pad. So take the rotor and turn it like this, and then that distinguishes the difference between the rotor and the pad. And you want to look and make sure they're wearing evenly. Sometimes brake pads will be wore out down here and be full here. That's an indication your brakes aren't wearing equally. This is what a good pad looks like. This is a brand new Bendix pad. It's got plenty of lining. A person should be able to go 50,000 miles on this set of brake pads. And this is a wore out pad. Pad's almost completely gone. This customer only has a couple thousand miles left before their brakes were actually metal to metal. Brake pads have a metal piece, and then they have the padding itself. You can see the difference in the two pads. Hardly any pad left. You can see the metal, but no pad left compared to this. On the outer pad, you want to do the same thing, inspect the outer pad just as you did the inner pad. You're looking at the thickness of the actual pad itself. Don't get confused and include the metal part of the pad. Different issues you can have is the caliper seizing up, the brake hose going bad, meaning the rubber inside the brake hose here will actually deteriorate and come apart and actually block the line. And the only other issue is brake rotors being warped, causing a brake pulsation, even a pulling issue sometimes. And basically that's how you check your brake pads. Anything other than that, you need to see a professional. Check your pads, check all four wheels when checking your pads or your brake shoes, and if you have any other issues, find you a good professional that you can trust and let them take a look at it for you.